There we go. Good evening, peeps. And if you are joining us, welcome and thank you for joining us. And with me, I have the PA lady. Over to you.
Good evening, everybody.
Well, I was waiting for some sort of PA announcement. Not happening?
You need to tell me in advance when you want to do things like that.
Yeah, but you do PA stuff.
Catch me off guard like that.
Excellent. There we go. So, guys, if you are watching the stream with us, first of all, thank you very much for joining. We really appreciate the support. Of course, if you are already subscribed to the channel, that's great. If you are not, please hit that little subscribe button and also the bell to get your notifications whenever we go online. It seems that there is an echo, Seeker. Seeker is echoing.
Fun times.
Okay, so let me just try and see if I can get that echo away. Guys, while we... and then I see that Lucas is also telling me Yaku, hashtag or Yaku Stariki. I don't know what that means. I don't know. It's probably...
You spelled your name wrong the first time you said it.
Oh, I was wondering why people were calling me Echo. Alright, so guys, if you are watching the stream with us, we're gonna cover a couple of things tonight. I am in the background here playing with some settings and making sure that we're trying not to have Seeker go all echoey on us. But she has been having some technical difficulties tonight, Seeker, right?
That's correct. Everything technical. My phone didn't even want to charge.
Oh no. Alright, so guys, you can let us know once Seeker's echo has disappeared. I'm continuously making some adjustments here on my side, and you can let us know. Right, so Seeker, interesting week, right?
I don't actually want to talk too much, just in case I am still echoing.
Ah, okay.
But
All
yes,
right.
very interesting week.
Well, we'll pick up the here and there. You'll talk to us, and then we'll figure out whether the echo is happening or not. But right now, a couple of interesting things happening, and of course, there's people sending me messages on the side about how much they're enjoying the community event, right? And
The cops and robbers.
well, actually, to be honest with you, there's a few people that have only done the Cowboys and Indians this week, and we'll talk about the other one now. But guys, if you have no idea what we are talking about, then we are talking about the community events. Now, if you have a look at your screen over there, you'll see that is the community event that we launched about, I think, probably about 2 weeks ago. And it was called Cowboys and Indians. Now, if you don't know what we're talking about, very briefly, how the setup works is that you start a private game, and you go into a private game, a TDM, any map that you like, and you create two loadouts. So one loadout for the Cowboys and one loadout for the Indians, and you can see the loadouts there on the screen as they are. You basically then assign everybody to auto assign, so everybody can hear each other. You designate a particular cowboy in the server and you start the game, and whoever joins that designated cowboy will select the cowboy loadout, and whoever is not joining that particular designated cowboy will select the Indian loadout. And there we go. That's the simple and easy setup. Now, I've had quite a few messages over the last 2 weeks of guys saying how much they enjoy it, and it's quite lekker, and they're having fun, and this and that. And we've had so many messages that we decided to launch a second community event, which is the one that we launched on Friday night. And that is the one that you guys are looking at on your screen at the moment. And that is the Cops and Robbers one, right? So again, two loadouts. The setup of the game is exactly the same. But we tested these weapons and the balancing between the cops and the robbers, and we had hell of a fun on Friday night, right? So
We did.
that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. Okay, so apparently, Seeker, your echo is better, and apparently it is not that bad. So, yay! Right. So, guys, those are the two community events. Of course, the posts are available on Facebook on the Call of Duty ZA page on Facebook, and you can see the full setup and how you set these community events up. You can see it on the post. But again, I mean, there are two community events running at the moment. The one is, of course, that one, the West Wars Cowboys and Indians, and then the other one is the community event Cops and Robbers. And like I said, we tried this on Friday night, and it was a hell of a fun. So I really enjoyed it.
It was very hard point for me, which brought back some memories.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
great.
No pun intended, right?
Yeah.
Right. Now, of course, the other thing that we are busy with in the background, and the reason why we're busy with it now is that we are, of course, in week 5 going on to week 6 for season 2, and we'll talk a little bit about what week 6 means for season 2. But of course, we have started our season 3 planning. So,
Sweet.
yeah, it's very excited for season 3. And there's about 4 weeks left on season 2. We will probably have about maybe a 2-week break, and then we'll kick off the registration for season 3, Seeker, right?
That is correct. Yeah, I mean, we've got so many teams that are already interested outside of the teams already in season 2. So that is super, super awesome for us to see.
Absolutely. Now we've got some new people on board for season 3. And I see he's actually in the chat tonight, and that is Mr. Black Sader Ranger. And Black Sader Ranger has joined the Battle Bros team as officially for season 3, which is now called the Stats Master. Now you might be wondering to yourself, what the hell is the Stats Master? And what is this guy going to be doing, hanging around in the Battle Bros team? And if you look at your screen right now, you will see that there is a team roster actually for your team, Seeker, for Evil, right? And that is the Evil COD roster for season 2. And you guys will notice that there's a couple of extra columns on this team, actually 4 columns at the end, which says kills, deaths, score, and KD. And what we have been testing this sort of last let's call it few weeks of season 2 is we've actually purchased a module for the website that will allow us player individual tracking. But it's a big job, and for that we needed a specific person to assist us and to help us overview what needs to happen on that module.
Dankie, Gerard.
So yeah, there we go. Gerard's joined the team, so that's Black Sader Ranger, and Gerard will be in charge of making sure that these stats, player-related stats rather, get updated. Now, something that I do just want to mention, guys, is that this will, of course, have nothing to do with the player stats that are on the application tracker or on the COD application tracker. This will be specific to a season, right? So we will be able to start tracking player individual stats per season and how they play. So that's going to be
yeah. So the big difference then between your and your comps.
Yes.
And that's what we wanted to track. I mean, anyone can go onto Stats Tracker and actually find guys in the pubs, how they do and all that kind of stuff. But we specifically wanted to track how players perform during Season 3.
Absolutely. So that's the idea, right? Is that we track it according to players. Now, the nice thing about being able to track it according to players is the plan is, of course, also to provide you guys with some interesting stats views during the season, in terms of even perhaps being able to break this down into specific platforms, right? So then looking at what the stats looks like of players that are playing on PS4 versus players that are playing on PC, and of course even players that are playing on Xbox. So I think it's going to be interesting. We're very happy that Black Sader Rangers decided that he's up for the challenge, and that he will join the team and make sure that everything there is updated. It's going to be a bit of a task, but I'm looking very, very much forward to it. Guys, again, if you have just joined us for the stream, we are talking about a new module that we purchased for the website that will be live during season 3, and that is to enable us to track player specific stats. And you can see an example of that on the screen now, which is the test that we have done, or that we are busy doing, tracking the evil team stats now in season 2 already, to make sure that everything is bug free and everything is set up and that sort of thing. So there we go. And I see some people in the chat. Luckily, I repeated myself now.
Yes.
Sika, is there some people you want to call out in the chat before we move along?
Yeah, so I want to say hi to everybody who's joined us. Blank Senpai is here from Blair. Awesome Leash here. Mr. White, Darren Baines, obviously Black Sailor Rangers here. We've also got Rebel Mafia who's joined us. Haptic is here. JP is here. And no, JP, it's not because of Corona that I don't want to speak. I already, disinfected my mic and everything, so I think I'm good there. Lisa's here as well as Dylan, Philip van Lensberg, Phoenix Gaming, Sinless Player, and Michael Hayward. Sure.
Lekker. And that's, of course, Zappa, right? Singles
Okay.
player.
Sinless
player is from, well, he is. I mean, that's what he said in the chat,
yes,
right?
he's from Zappa, yes.
So guys, if you have joined us for the stream, thank you very much for joining. I've managed to play around a little bit with the settings, so you can let us know where the Seeker's tunnel voice and echo has been sorted out. I think I have actually managed to do so, so hopefully that's been sorted out. And we are going to get onto the stats or the weekly stats in terms of the games in a little bit. Of course, we don't try and keep you guys for very long with the recap show every week. It's pretty much just to talk about the community, what is happening, and some new stuff that we are busy with. And of course, as I said, if you have just joined us, what you're looking at is an example of player specific stats. That is a new module that we've bought for the website and that we will kick off in season 3 officially for all teams. At the moment, you can see the example there of us tracking the player stats for the Evil COD team, that is their roster, and of course we are doing so to work out all the bugs and to make sure that everything is working and that sort of stuff. And of course, again, thank you very much to Black Sailor Ranger, who has joined the Battle Bros team and will officially be from season 3 the stats master and in charge of making sure that these things are updated and live and we can track some stats. And that stats, of course, will be season specific, so it's not the same stats as what you will get on the app. These stats will specifically relate to how players play within that particular season. That's a bit of a mouthful, Seeker, right?
It is. But you know what? I think it's going to be awesome. I think it's something that we haven't seen around, and of course, that's what we do, right? We do pioneering stuff here.
Yeah, we do innovate. See.
Yes, we innovate.
Yes, we do innovate. Right. Excellent, guys. But if you have joined us tonight, you have surely joined us to look at what the week looked like in terms of the league. Now, before I go on to the weekly games, of course, we were in week 5. We are now going on to week 6. And for those of you who are playing in the tournament, and for those of you who are just following us as the tournament progresses, of course, next week is transfer week. Now, what does that mean? Transfer week basically means that it is a week that we provide to teams to, let's call it, reassess their rosters, right? It is a week where a team can make a couple of changes to either their existing roster, or of course they don't have to make changes. It's not a requirement that they do, but it allows them the opportunity to do so. I mean, we've now been at the season for the last 6 weeks, give and take. That includes the week that we played the challenge week. And by now some teams have recruited new players, some players have dropped off, there's some players that are more hyped up about games than others, and of course the team captains need to make sure that they are continuously playing their best team. So in week 6 we built in something called transfer week that actually allows team captains to make changes to their roster. Now these changes are not unlimited. At this point, a change to a roster, there can be a maximum of 3 changes made to the roster during this coming week. But of course it also means that this coming week there will be no games. So it's pretty much an off week for everyone. Everyone gets a chance to rest, and the captains get an opportunity to sort out their roster. So that is what transfer week is all about. Did I miss anything, Sika? What did I
Of
miss
course,
about?
there's one rule, however, that you did not mention, and what we don't actually promote here is poaching but between teams. So one of the big rules there is that you're not allowed to transfer players from one team that is registered to another team. So players cannot move between teams during transfer week.
Absolutely. And I think you just answered a question that popped up
I
in the
did.
chat as we were talking about it. So that's pretty cool. It looks like we planned it. Dark Myth, thanks for following the script. And so yes, that's quite a big thing. Of course, we highly frown upon poaching. So no, if a player is already registered uh, within the league at the moment, of course, he will not be allowed to be transferred to another team, at least not during this season, right? Of course, next season is a completely different story, but
Yep.
within this season, we will make sure that those players are not transferred between two different teams, right? So of
Yeah,
course
because the
those
last thing we want is players jumping around because maybe they don't feel their team is doing as well as they should be, so they just move to a team that is doing better. No, no, not on our watch.
absolutely, and of course the primary idea with transfer week is that when the season kicks off, normally there's a whole bunch of stragglers that don't know about the season or don't know about competitive, and then as the message gets out there that hey, there's something competitive happening on the scene, you get people joining teams and clans recruiting, and they suddenly grow or explode or whatever may be the case, and of course those new players are then not on the roster, right? So
Yep.
expecting of these guys to hang around for 10 to 12 weeks without playing in the same clan, I mean, that's sometimes difficult. So we understand that. I mean, it's not our first rodeo. So we specifically built in transfer week to allow also those adjustments for the new players to the roster. So there we go. That is what transfer
Course.
week
And
is
then,
all about.
like the example you used last week in the recap show was marathon running. You do, however, have the people that fall upon the wayside and don't complete the race. Guys that, things happen during the season and they actually can't carry on playing. And it's really sucks for some teams, especially when it's multiple players that you have that can't complete the season, and you end up, without a full team towards the end of it. So this is the opportunity as well to sort of push players back into your team that can complete it. So yeah.
Absolutely. To get those guys who just bought the running shoes, right?
Hmm.
Absolutely.
The
Well,
ones that are still full of optimism.
yes, and they don't get depleted, right? I see Black Sailor Rangers saying here, sometimes salty guys leave the comp in the middle of the comp.
Yes.
That stuff happens, but of course, there's also teams that sometimes leave for legitimate reasons, right? I mean, we know about teams where the guys are studying, and within that team, some of the guys are actually doing their doctoral. So it's not always the easiest thing to try and do your hobby and your studies and things at the same time. And sometimes there's legitimate reasons why players can't play for whatever reason. I mean, to be honest, we really don't try and distinguish between good and bad reasons, but we know that there are reasons, and of course therefore we try and accommodate by doing something like transfer week. So this coming week, guys, unfortunately, and I'm very sad to say, no games will be played this coming week, right? It's a bit of a break for all the teams, even for us, in terms of
Well, not
managing the
not really
games.
for us.
No,
Not
not
really for us
really,
because
because yeah,
we've also coincided the off week in COD with the finals week in Battlefield. So
correct.
there will be games to watch, so you guys can watch our channel
Yes.
and watch the Facebook pages, and we will obviously put out, if you are Battlefield fans, you'll be able to see some of those matches. The finals will be really exciting, I think.
Absolutely. So no COD game. Yeah, let me rather put it this way: no COD games this week, and it's not really like we're taking a break on COD anyway, because the admin involved with this transfer week is quite a bit, right?
Hectic.
Luckily, we've got those two great league masters at the moment. So that's Lisa and Motionless Roach, unless he decided to change his name again, old Dylan. I mean, these guys are really, really great, and they are on top of their game at the moment. So we have them, but it's a busy week in terms of transfer week as well. But then again, of course, as Sika said, next week is the Battlefield Tournament finals, so we will be paying attention to the finals a little bit as well. So if you guys do want to come in and watch on the channel to see what the Battlefield finals is all about, I think that'll probably be around Wednesday. So you are more than welcome to come and do that. Right. Excellent.
Right.
So we're going to move on to why people are actually here to come and see what the week 5 has
they were just here
delivered.
to listen to us because we're awesome.
Yeah, well, that's probably you. For me, they're here for the stats, right?
They just come to hear what my voice is gonna sound like in chat this week.
Yeah. Maybe you echo, maybe you don't. There's some bets
Maybe I'm
going.
roboting,
Is Sika gonna echo? Is she gonna sound like a robot? Right. So, guys, I'm gonna pull up the results for the week so far. There's quite a few sets, but we're looking at the first 2 sets there on screen, and we're going to go top to bottom, left to right. And if you're looking at the top there, you have DPS Blue versus GSE. Now, of course, DPS Blue pulled out very, very early in the season. And actually for one of those good reasons. So by default, GSE took the win this week with their 750 points. Then we had again a forfeit match there. Unfortunately, Dow forfeited, and CPR, cross-platform rejects, took the win there with their 750, and Evil took the 750 there over OMOV. Then we had the game between Lifeline Gaming and Rebel Mafia. That's the Venom team. Rebel Mafia took the win there, 750 over LLG's 130. We had the game between Phoenix and Bob, and from what I understand, this was actually a very, very entertaining game to watch, but Phoenix ended up taking the win there, 750 over the 230 points of Bob. Moving over to the right-hand side, the team that I am definitely watching this season in their division, which is Elite Motion Gaming. They had the game there against INV Zeus, and again, from what I understand, I unfortunately didn't get to watch that game, but I understood that it was actually a very, very hard game between those two teams. But Elite Motion Gaming ending up taking the win there with 750 over the 375 points from Zeus. And then, of course, we also had INV Hades, and they played Too Legit. And, of course, Hades taking the win over Too Legit. They're 750 over Too Legit's 461.
So very close to games there.
Yes. But I understood actually from the guys from INV that both were very close games. The one that I actually really wanted to watch was the Elite Motion one. I understood that was a bit of a battle that was going on there. Then we had the game between Gig 797 and Project Alpha, and this is of course the Taakmag team that played there. Gig took the win there, 750 over the 322 points of Project Alpha. We had Dark Divine Alpha, who played Fire with Fire, and this one also I saw some good banter going on the captain's group before this game. But Dark Divine Alpha managed to take the win there, 750 points versus the 241 of Fire with Fire. And then right there at the bottom on the right hand side, the last game from this page was Divine Gaming, and they faced off against the team of Zappa, with Divine Gaming taking the win there, 750 over 281 of Zappa. So before I move on to the last results there, Sika, anything that you want to call out here, want to mention before I take these games off?
No, just some really hard fought matches. There's some really great banter in the group.
Yes,
for those
absolutely.
Matches.
Some of the people, of course, watching the stream with us don't get to see that. But I can tell you guys, the banter is real. Excellent. So I'm going to take off those two, and we're going to put on the last sheet of results. So there we had the game between the girls, GSG and UB. And Sika, you actually played in this, and as you said, this was hectic, right? But well done to UB there, taking the win, 750 over GSG with 439. Still not a bad score there by the girls. We also had the game between F20, which is the other team that I'm having a bit of an eye on at the moment, and they took the win there over DPS Green, 750 over DPS Green's 291. We had the team of Rebel Mafia, and this is of course the Subsonic team. They played the Young Bloods, took the win there with 750 over the 377 of the Young Bloods. And then of course the game that I streamed this week was the game between Blur and the 4Q guys, and Blur had a tremendous match. I mean, again, you know, there was a lot of banter going on between the two teams. And I think if you go and watch the stream that I did, I think it was match, the second map was an absolute blaster from the Blah team. Look, the 4Q guys played exceptionally well, right? And they really pushed hard on those hard points. But the Blah guys, once they got into those defensive positions, I mean, it was really tough for 4Q. But well done there to Blah, who took the win 750 over the 162 of 4Q. And then the last match on the list there was the match between Dark Divine Bravo and Project Alpha. And that is, of course, the Psychos team, with Dark Divine Bravo taking the win 750 over the 123 points of Project Alpha. Yo. It was hectic. It was hectic. There was a few hectic games here. What's happening in the chat, Sika?
Banter? What banter? Yeah. Obviously Michael Hayward here saying that the team Sinless play scores improved a lot. And of course they are already organizing a friendly for this off week.
Oh, are they? That's great.
Of course.
That's great. I like to hear that the friendlies and things are being organized. It's always lekker to hear. So guys, before we move on to the divisional tables, then I'm going to go through these results one more time, top to bottom, and this time back to front. So at the top there we had the girls who were playing Untamed Beast, who's Untamed Beast taking the win, F20 taking the win over DPS Green, Rebel Mafia, the Subsonic team, taking the win over Young Bloods, Blah taking the win over 4Q, and of course Dark Divine Bravo taking the win over Project Alpha, and that is the Psychos team. Pulling up those first stats again, let's do it bottom right going up. We had the team of Dark Divine taking the win over Zappa. We had Dark Divine Alpha taking the win over Fire with Fire. Sorry, let me just correct something. It's Divine Gaming who took the win over Zappa. Apologies. Dark Divine Alpha taking the win over Fire with Fire. We had Gig taking the win over Project Alpha. Hades, that's the iEnvy team, taking the win over Too Legit, and then of course Elite Motion Gaming taking the win over the iEnvy team Zeus. We had Phoenix taking the win over Bob. We had the Real Mafia Venom team taking the win over LLG, and then of course those 3 forfeit matches with Evil winning, Cross-Platform Rejects winning, and GSE taking the full point wins in those 3 matches. There we go, and that is the matches that we had for the week, and a lot of banter, absolutely a lot of banter. So guys, how did last week matches then influence the tables of this week? Now of course, just before we move on, if you have just joined us on the stream, first of all, thank you very much for joining. Really appreciate the support. If you guys are already subscribed to the channel, that's absolutely excellent. If you are not, then please hit that subscribe button and also hit the bell to get your notifications whenever we go online. What we have just handled off is the games that were played last week between the different teams, and we are about to look at how those games have influenced the tables for the standings so far, and that is of course up until the end of week 5. Week 6, there will be no games that's happening because week 6 is the transfer week, and that is the week where we allow the teams to readjust their rosters. But let's go on to Division 1. So right now at the moment, Sika, you must be very happy with the way Division 1 looks at the moment, because the first 3 teams over there is CPR, Cross-Platform Rejects, and then Evil in second and GSE in third at the moment. And I think we might as well call out VDT there as well, because they are very close to the team there in third, which is GSE. But CPR ruling the field at the moment. They have played their 5 games with just over 3,000, or just, let's rather say, just under 3,600 points, so 3,595. Evil there in second, just over 3,150 points. And then, of course, both GSE and VDT has only played 4 games, right? So both of them still have a game in hand. But the scoring there, very, very close. Just over 2,800 for GSE in third, and VDT just over 2,500 there. So those are the first 4 positions within Division 1. And it's looking quite nice at the moment. So you're setting yourself up for the final, Seeker, it looks like.
Yeah. Although granted, GSE and VDT still have 1 game more to play, so anybody's guess there.
Absolutely. Moving on to Division 2 then. So Division 2, very, very close at this point as well. We've got the guys from Rebel Mafia right there at the top. They have, of course, in this division, everybody has played their 5 games, so there's no games in hand in Division 2. So Rebel Mafia at the top there. Just over
top points at the moment.
With top points, haven't lost a match in the first half of the season at all. So they are on 3,750 points. So very, very well done there to the guys from Rebel Mafia. Second place there, we've got Ubi with just over 3,400 points. So good job, Ubi. We've got Phoenix there in third position with just over 3,200 points, followed very closely by the girls in fourth with just over 3,000 points. Then I think it's worthwhile calling out Gig and Project Alpha here as well, because the scores are not, there's not a huge gap. So in fifth position, we have Gig there with just over 2,350. They are followed by Project Alpha with just over 2,280 points. And then, of course, there in 7th and 8th positions, we have Bob and LLG. Now, unfortunately, LLG has 1 forfeit against their name there. There's a particular game that they just couldn't manage to play. So that is where that 1 forfeit match comes from. But a very close division, generally speaking. I think at the moment there's a big fight for probably for position 2, 3 and 4 at the moment. That seems to be very, very close. I mean, there's sort of less than 400 points in it between second, third and fourth. So really, really close in division 2 as well. Sika, what do you think?
Yeah, definitely. And the girls are like really trying hard this one as well.
Excellent.
I must say it's great to see how excited the girls are to play, and how great all of our opponents have been, and how nicely they've sort of dealt with us. Unfortunately, it is one of those things when you do play with girls, you do get some nasty comments sometimes, and that has not gone away. It does happen, but guys in season 2 have been fantastic, and just want to say thank you to all those teams.
Absolutely. That's a good thing to hear, right? Excellent. So moving off Division 2 and moving on to Division 3 then, and here is, I mean, yes, there's some nasty close scores here as well.
Yeah.
So in pole position there at the moment, and again, these guys also so far have been completely undefeated. They have not lost a single map. Actually, and also have not lost a single game, right? So they are on 3,750 points, and that is, of course, the team of Elite Motion Gaming. So they are right there at the top, followed in second position, very, very, very close in terms of points, 3,716 points, and that belongs to F20. They are again followed with an exceptionally small difference by the team of INV Zeus, which is on 3,125, and then of course Dark Divine Alpha sitting there on 2,817. They are followed in fifth position by the team of Blur there, which has come up nicely sort of the latter part of this half of the season, sitting there on 2,370 points. On sixth position, Fire with just over 2,000 points, and they are followed by the team of 4Q in 7th and DPS Green in 8th. There we go. Any call out, Seeker?
Just Elite Motion doing an exceptional job there. Really, really well. They've really been power this season.
Absolutely. And then, of course,
F20 as well. F20 has also surprised us. I mean, it's one thing to have a a game or a bunch of clans that join us that we don't actually know that well. And you never know how they're going to stack up, but geez, these guys have blown us away.
Absolutely. Now, of course, I see Untamed Beast here in the chat, and I assume that is
Jinxie.
Jinxie from Untamed Beast. He's saying F20 and EM is going to be a fire match to watch, right?
Yes,
And
for
I
sure.
agree. I agree. I think I'm gonna want to watch that one. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Moving on
And
then.
obviously, Karacha as well saying GSG and Evil in Division One. Maybe I'm gonna have to make a choice. I'm not the only one. So there's actually three girls in Evil that also play for GSG. So that's gonna be interesting.
It is gonna be interesting. You're right. Moving on then to Division 4, and then we'll quickly go through them again before we close off. But Division 4 at the moment, the guys at the top of the scoreboard there is the team of INV Hades, and they are on 3,655 points. And again, very, very small gap here between them and the team of Divine Gaming, who are doing a super job as well on 3,623 points. And then a minute gap, small gap between them and Dark Divine Bravo, who is on 3,549 points. And then just a small gap to the next team, which is the team of Rebel Mafia, and that's of course the Psychos team, right? And they are on
um,
3,300.
no,
The
subsonic.
Subsonic team, sorry, and they are on 3,356 points. So very, very close between the first four teams here. That's Hades, Divine Gaming, Dark Divine Bravo, and the team of Rebel Mafia. In fifth position, we have the team from Too Legit, and they are on 2,971, followed by the Youngbloods, and they are 1,966. And of course, then a small gap there to Zappa, who is in seventh position, 1,892, and they are followed by Project Alpha in eighth on 1,213. So at the
It's actually
moment,
for me very interesting to see the sort of the tiny little gaps we have in Division 3 and 4. I mean, it's a matter of one game even,
absolutely.
one map even, some of these players.
Absolutely.
Um,
Can I tell you that there's not a single division where there's a bigger gap than 750 points, which is one game, right?
yeah.
In the first three positions. So there's not a single division where that's the case.
Yeah, but even in Division 3 and 4, even between the first position and the last position, it's a matter of a couple games.
Yes, yes,
So
absolutely.
it's really, I mean, very, very interesting playoffs are going to happen here. And as the guys move through the divisions, I think Division 1 is going to become fire.
I'm so excited. Right. So let's give the guys their due. We're calling out the first three teams in every division. Let's start with Division 4. At the top there is the team of INB Hades. They are followed by Divine Gaming, and of course in third position there, Dark Divine Bravo. Then moving back to Division 3, first there is Elite Motion. Then we have F20 Gaming, and in third position there, again the team from iEnvy, but that's of course the Zeus team. Moving to Division 2, we have the Boykies there from Rebel Mafia holding the pole position. They are followed by UB in second and Phoenix in third. And then moving over into Division 1, you have CPR, who is at the top, followed by Evil, and in third position there you have GSE. So there we go, Sika. That's all the tables for the week and how they have been influenced by the gameplay in week 5. So
Hectic stuff.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely, guys. So if you have joined us for tonight, so very quickly, if you joined the start of the conversation, or you joined later and you missed the start of the conversation, we were talking right in the beginning about the community events that are busy going on, and of course there's two of them. The one is West Wars, which you are seeing now on your screen. That's the one we launched about 2 weeks ago. And then this past Friday, we launched Cops and Robbers. So those are the two running community events at the moment. If you are interested in getting involved with them, go and have a look at the post on the Facebook page. That's, of course, Call of Duty ZA, and you can find the particulars on the community events there. But if you are looking into the league and the rankings and the tables and that sort of stuff, you can, of course, find that on our website, which is www.bfclanwars.net. Now, before I close off and give Seeker a final opportunity to call out some stuff that's been happening in the chat, just a reminder that we did also discuss this little tidbit, which is the individual player stats tracking, and we discussed that right in the beginning of the stream as well. Of course, this what you are looking at is an example of player individual stats tracking now during season 2. Of course, currently it's only on one team because we are testing the new module that we have bought for the website. Joining our team.
So don't judge. Don't judge.
Don't judge. Yes, don't judge. Joining our team to pretty much be the man in charge of these stats being tracked and so forth is Black Sailor Ranger. So welcome to him, also to the Battle Bros team. And in season 3, this will be available for every team that participates. So we did also talk a little bit about that. So if you joined us late and didn't see that, scroll back on the stream and go and watch the discussion on that. Seeker, what are we calling out in the stream before we close in the chat?
Friendies being organized, guys saying what teams they think are going to be fire to watch, and of course season 5 and season 6 going to be awesome. Division 1 is going to be like really tough, I think.
Yes, let's just talk about that for 1 second quickly, because I'm not sure everybody's aware of what should happen on the tables at the end of this season. Guys, as you know, or hopefully know by now, we are in season 2 moving over into season 3 not in too long from now. The way that it works with Clan Wars is if you partake in the league, you actually play your way up into a division, and at the end of the season we use a relegation principle. Basically, relegation means that the bottom teams within a particular division drops off and goes to a division below them, and the top performing teams in a lower division actually moves up into a higher division. Now, depending on how many teams participate in every season and how many players we have and how active they are and all sorts of different questions that we ask, it could be something like 2 teams, but we've had instances in the past where we've relegated up to 3 teams within a division. So it really depends on how the next division turns out, is really how the relegation tables will work for the end of the season, right?
Yeah, and another thing to also take into account is the teams in the divisions at the moment. If they don't take part in the next season, which we hope won't happen, but we have obviously had some teams drop out already. We need to fill those spots with the top teams from the next division.
Correct. And of course, there's that ever looming rule. If you do drop out of a season, when you come back the next season, you automatically come back in the division below the one where you left, right? So no questions asked. So if you were a Division 1 team and you dropped out and you rejoin in the next season, you will automatically start in Division 2, so 1 division lower, right? So we try and balance it out, guys. We also, of course, have to give as many teams the opportunity to get to the top as we can, and having fun along the way, right?
Yep.
Absolutely.
Of course, thank you to our League Masters who work their butts off during the week, making sure that the results are in, the website gets updated, queries get answered, matches that are scheduled happened. If they don't happen, that they are rescheduled, etc., etc. And that, of course, is Little Green Monster and Motionless Roach. And thank you, of course, to Black Sailor Ranger, who's come on board and done a flip ton of work this week in getting the stats done for the evil team for season 2, so we can make sure that all works out for season 3, so you guys can benefit from that.
Absolutely. Anything else, Seeker, that I'm missing or that I've left out?
Just you guys are amazing. We love how involved you are in the community. We love being a part of it, and this has probably been one of our best moves since actually doing Battle Bros and Clan Wars, was creating this COD comp scene in the leagues we're doing now. It's been freaking awesome, and you guys are amazing.
Absolutely great sportsmanship as well, right? Something that I feel like I almost want to call out every week. Yeah. Right. I think I might have lost Seeker in the meantime. I heard a little clicky sound there, so I think something happened on her end. Just a hunch. But guys, from my side, I think that is all that we had for tonight. It was great, of course, having you. Sika, I think, has just dropped off. Something went a bit screwy there on her side. But from my side, Sika, thank you very much again for your company. It was great as always. Then, of course, this week is transfer week, and we look forward then to week 7 where we will resume games. And as always, guys, you can go and check out the full detail on the website at www.bfclanwars.net. Of course, next week there won't be any games during transfer week, but go and check out the games that are being scheduled for week 7 when we will pick that up again. And I look forward to that. But from my side, I think that is all we had. I'm Yakasar for Battle Bros. Leave no one standing.